Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be with you all today on this beautiful spring afternoon. So I hope that wherever you are is filled with light in one way or another. Maybe it's just coming from your own heart if it's cloudy outside. We have a mixed day here in Virginia, but the flowers are still blooming and it's gorgeous. So nature provides resilience, examples, I would say, of resilience. So our topic for today is building practical resilience. And we just look around at nature and we see every spring things come back to life. Nature is resilient. Now, we have different aspects of our life, and anything that we build, we use tools. And so we can use various tools to bring focus and attention to our own inner and outer lives. Because combined, this is what builds resilience. And I know resilience in general, we think of it as the ability to bounce back from something. The ability to just carry on with strength and continue to function. And that is part of it. But I think a key word in this is to build the capacity to adapt and respond and recover from various challenges that happen in our lives. So I'm in the process of creating a course for businesses, and it can also be used for people on many levels of their life. Business is one part of our life, work life, career life. We also have health. We also have love relationships, family, friends, intimate relationships, our finances, our recreational life. So these are all areas that some are stronger than others at different points and times in our lives. And so we can use to see where we are on this wheel, and that as we go around the wheel, we get to know ourselves. And the more that we get to know ourselves on these various levels, the more we can fine tune and strengthen that which is most vulnerable, that which is weaker. And there are many ways to do this. But the first step in this, the first 3 points on the wheel are reflection, acknowledgement, and release. And reflection is the way where we get to know ourselves and to have a good, honest look at our lives and where we are, and to look at each part of our lives and to see how strong it is, how resilient we are within it, how resilient is it functioning for us, how it's serving us. Is it serving us, empowering us, teaching us, or depleting us, exhausting us, beating us down? These are things to take a look at, and to take an honest look at what are the areas of these and write them down. That is really the first step, and it doesn't take more than simply taking the time to give yourself some space to do that. Ideally, you can build resilience by taking a little bit of time every day or a few times a week. And it doesn't take long times, but just a few minutes sometimes. It's easy to fine tune as you go along. That's my favorite way of handling all of that. But the reflection part is important, and then to acknowledge what you're seeing and feeling and thinking, and being honest about that. If you feel sad, to be able to say, I feel sad. Why am I sad? What is the cause of this? There may be some very good reasons, and that's fine. But we don't have to carry the sadness with us throughout the day. We may be feeling sad about something. Something may have happened. We may be feeling angry about something. The first step in releasing anything is to acknowledge it honestly to ourselves. Because that in itself creates an opening where we can begin to see what could be released or shifted or transmuted, because the negative thoughts and feelings will hold us back and wear on us, and that takes away from our resilience, and then we're not as capable of handling new stresses and challenges and situations that may arise. But we can take a handle on it if we're looking at it regularly, self-regulating. We have the power within us to do that, and only we can do that, actually. Now, somewhere between acknowledgement and actual release is something very important, and that is forgiveness. And I think forgiveness is one of the most misunderstood things in the world. It means a lot of different things to different people. But for our purposes here, we acknowledge something, and in order to release it, it must be forgiven within us, which means we've accepted it, and that we're just simply now going to let it go because we're going to move forward. Because if we're angry and we insist on holding on to the anger because we feel it's justified, or shreds of resentment that we don't want to let go, and we're going to have to live with those shards in our hearts. So that's where forgiveness comes in, because those shards are going to cut into us, and that will inhibit our ability to love and to enjoy life. So if you want to experience love and joy and peace and happiness and all those good things, you want to get rid of those little shards of resentment that we tend to hold on for years sometimes. And the reflection will help us to see what those are. And it doesn't involve the other person. Most often it does not. It's about us. So in between acknowledgement, and in order to have a full, clear release, forgiveness is needed. It's a bridge. Think of it as a bridge. And it's an act of love for us. It's like, yes, I'm going to open this cage. I'm going to let it out. That's my forgiveness. It's my act of self-love. Now I can release. And in that release, we clear space. We clear space for something new to come in, or something more that we can bring forth from within our hearts. There's so much we have to give, but if there's things in the way, it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. We're not even going to feel motivated to give because we're still holding on. And that wears away at our resilience. It wears away at our ability to adapt and flow and recover from various challenges that happen in life, because those things are going to continue to happen. Unpredictable. So in the meantime, we can empower ourselves with those few things to begin with: reflection, acknowledgement, and release, and forgiveness where it's called for. And it helps to write these things down. And if you're somebody that doesn't like to write down, just have a little talk with yourself or with a trusted friend and share. Because the moment you speak it out or write it out, that in itself is a release, and it creates an opening. You've expanded something. You've created some fertile ground for new growth. And that's the beginning of building resilience. And that, to me, is the most practical thing you could do in the world as a human being. Practical, because we apply it then in every area of our life, in our communications, the actions that we take, the way we prioritize our time, how we spend our time, where we put our energies. So those are some more things that we can go into in a few weeks' time, where we focus using discernment, exploration, learning to trust. This is going to open our ability and capacity to celebrate life, to really love life, and learn to love ourselves in the process. Because the more we can forgive ourselves, the more we're able to actually love ourselves and to love being who we are, instead of feeling that we wish we were other than we actually are. To actually love who we actually are and enjoy being with that being, because that is our life, moment to moment. To clear the way for that, we're worth loving. You are worth loving. We're each worth loving. And it starts with us. And the more that we can love our own existence, the more we can bring love to other people, because we connect with that essence in them as well. We look beyond their flaws and imperfections and see the essence and feel it. The more we get to know our own essence. Because that which can never be hurt resides very deep inside of us. And it's not dependent on what someone else does, says, thinks, or feels about us. It's not dependent on any of that. It's simply available. And that's really true resilience, contacting that on a daily basis. We can clear the way, clear the path through those first simple steps. Reflection, acknowledgement, and release. So try that out for fun, and may it bring you greater freedom, joy, peace, and most of all, love. Thank you for listening today. I look forward to being with you again soon.